So not only have Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe now started their own parties, of course the left are now getting involved because, oh, Jeremy Corbyn and Zarah Sultana have now planning to start their own party. And originally this podcast episode this week was going to be me breaking down Advance UK and Restore Britain, which are Ben Habib's and Rupert Lowe's new parties, respectively. I was going to break them all down, you know, we were going to talk about the details and the stuff they talked about, blah, blah. But then the Jeremy Corbyn thing came out and I was just sat with all this information and I was thinking back on previous episodes, which we're going to talk about, and points that I've made and thoughts and beliefs that I have about starting new parties and all this stuff, and I just thought, no, this episode is going to be different. It's going to be one of our more stripped back ones. If you're new to this channel, by the way, hello, welcome to Playing in Politics, which is normally my politics and makeup podcast where I talk about politics and I do my makeup at the same time. I like to say it's like Bailey Sarian, who's like a true crime creator, but without the murder. But today is going to be one where sometimes we do this as well. I don't do my makeup, I just sit here and we rant. We just have a rant, we just have events, because sometimes that's what we need. And in this case, oh my god, do I need to rant, because this is not what we need. Fundamentally, this is not what we need. And I know that when I talked about in my episode about the Integrity Party, which is when Ben Habib took that over, and we were like, oh, it needs like a better name, which Advance UK, I'm going to be honest, is not better. It's not a better name. I said what I said. And obviously he was like, it's going to be member run, which it is, and he said this, you know, it's going to be a member run. We're not like Reform UK, we're what Reform UK should have been in a way, but we're going to try again. And originally when that was announced, we were all hoping that Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe were going to join forces because obviously they had similar treatment from Reform UK, it would have made sense. But no, they've decided to start their own things by themselves, and it's just like, guys, did you not see the opportunity right in front of your faces? Respect you both massively, and the way that Reform treated you and the journeys is just crazy and disgusting, and you shouldn't have been treated like that, and it's exposed Reform UK, which I've said before on this channel, I never trusted them, and it's exposed Nigel Farage for who he really is, which I know has let down a lot of people, especially those around like the Brexit era who supported him back then, you know, with UKIP and the Brexit Party and all that stuff. And now they're thinking, oh, well, that was wasted. He was actually a knobhead. But this, as I say, is not the answer. Fundamentally, my belief, and I said this before on this channel, is more parties equals more division. This is not what we needed. We needed to unite, and this is why I was really, really hoping that Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe would join forces and unite on this, because that is what we needed, was just one more party. We didn't need now 3. We didn't need that. Did not need that. And we'll get into Jeremy Corbyn and Zarah Sultana in a minute, but this is not what we needed. Especially because they're coming from very similar backgrounds and very similar treatment and very similar ideas and policy ideas and their ways of thinking. How do you pick sides? If you're somebody who is wanting to maybe quit the Tories, for instance, or quit Reform and go to another place because you support either one of these men, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? First of all, where are you gonna go? Because it's gonna be like, you feel like you're gonna be betraying one by going with the other, because there's not that much difference in them, is there? Like, let's be honest. So that was my first point of just like, what on earth is going on? And I made an episode a few months ago, and this is going to be my second point, about how the downfall of the traditional parties, i.e. the Tories and Labour, and them losing their core values and their core traditions and what they were founded on and what they should be trying to deliver to the people. The breakdown of those, I was asking kind of the question of whether that is then contributing to the downfall of society, the division of society, and sort of the loss of the traditional values and things like that within like family ideas and things like that, because all things are linked with society, right? And that was kind of the question I was sort of asking, and I know that a few people kind of didn't agree with me on that, I think, with the way that I phrased it, but with the way that there are more parties now, again, we've got 3 more now that we didn't really need. We did not need, and I know that at least my money has still gone to the Conservative Party. I'm still a young Conservative, even though I'm really, really questioning about whether I'm going to conference this year. It's looking like I might not be now, and also I might just be resigning my membership, but again, I don't know, because that was something that I joined at a time where, yeah, I had gone from escaping the brainwashing of a lot of people in my age who were getting sucked in by Jeremy Corbyn, and again we'll get to him in a minute, but it was something that I found that was like, this aligns with me, this aligns with the traditional values I was brought up on, and with and the kind of values that I want to carry on into my adulthood. And I've talked about this on my channel before, but I joined the Conservatives when I was 18, and I'm now 24, so it's been 6 years. In October it'll be 6 years since I joined, and my heart's still blue. I'm sorry, my heart is still blue. My heart is still trying to hope for the Conservatives reforming, because the last thing that I want is really what we're seeing right now, which is even further division in the country because of all of these parties. Like, we're just confusing people at this point. And moving on to Jeremy Corbyn and Zarah Sultana, I mean, and I think I've talked about this on my channel before, but it's a point it needs to be reiterated. Jeremy Corbyn, I believe, from what I saw at the time, especially being a young person, around like the age group of people who were just being able to vote for the first time and things like that in 2019 and things, you know, he single-handedly is why, at least my generation especially, like older Gen Z, are so brainwashed. Like, he is the reason why the far left are the far left today. If it wasn't for his labour and his extremism and the way he was able to brainwash young people so much with all of this nonsense and the radicalisms that he was coming out with, and the way he was just stirring people up so much, that and the rise of kind of a lot of LGBTQ issues on social media, climate change, people like Greta Thunberg rising up, like that whole thing for the left is why we have so many issues with the left today. I fundamentally believe he is the sole reason, at least in this country, for the UK's issues, in the UK's left, he is the one person who was the catalyst for the dumpster fire that we now have. And Zarah Sultana is absolutely no different. I mean, Zarah, she was obviously still in the Labour Party. She's now quit to join forces with Jeremy Corbyn, and they were best buddies. I mean, obviously Corbyn, after he was found guilty of anti-Semitism in a let's not forget this, in 2020 he was found guilty of or was it 2021? Around that time he was found guilty of anti-Semitism and was suspended from the Labour Party, and he carried on as an independent and somehow got re-elected last year, which still blows my mind. But then again, he stirred people up so much in 2019, like 2017 to 2019, that they still love him, especially people in my generation who were still raving like socialists and like low-key communists, and not even that low-key. They still love him. They still say that that was the best that the Labour Party's ever been. They are praising and cheering at this news, thinking, a socialist party run by these two people, let's go, you know. And I could not be more angry because I just thought that Jeremy Corbyn was gonna wither away on the backbenches. The man's not young. The man is in his 70s or something, isn't he? The man's not young, but, you know, once an extreme socialist, always an extreme socialist, and that keeps the fire burning, doesn't it? And Zarah Sultana is probably the most communist out of the Labour Party. Like, I mean, there are bad people on the front benches, but she was the worst of them, really, and especially because she was young and she was going to these protests, you know, with Jeremy Corbyn, and she was talking about, you know, free Palestine and all this stuff. It's honestly, this is why I wanted to make this more kind of stripped back video, because I just needed to rant about this is just gonna make things worse. And unfortunately now all I'm seeing is flashbacks to, again, like 2019. Crowds of people in my generation going, oh, Jeremy Corbyn, like the communist socialist like football chant. They're gonna revel in it. The way that we wanted to try and bring the left to a little bit more common sense has now been dashed. Like, I'm sorry, with people in my generation who are a lot of them are lefties, like, as we know, a lot of them are raving lefties, and they are gonna love this. They are gonna have finally somebody to vote for, because it's Jeremy Corbyn. Great God, Jeremy Corbyn, and Zarah Sultana is like First Lady, even though obviously they're not romantically involved. Yeah, no, that's not something we want to go down. But like, you know, it's the pairing from hell. It really is. It's just, it's worrying. It is really, really worrying. And yeah, I'm still of the opinion that they as in Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib missed an opportunity. They messed up here. They messed up. Now obviously this is still early days, a lot of this stuff has only just been announced and we're still gonna have to wait and see what happens, but I am disappointed, I am angry, and I am worried, and I'm a little bit anxious about what on earth is going on, because we needed some kind of integrity and like stability in this country when it came to politics, especially with the parties we were voting for, potentially voting for, and we're just not seeing that. So what are we going to do is the question. I mean, my answer to that is there still needs to be some kind of revolution, and obviously we're getting like the Great British National Strike and things like that, like protest groups around the issues that actually matter in this country, like the grooming gangs, the rape gangs and things like that, and the dangers of illegal migrants and letting people come in unvetted and things like that, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. Stuff like that is going to replace party politics. At least for the time being, because honestly I'm exhausted. I don't know if anyone else is, and you know, I was looking forward to seeing what Ben Habib and possibly Rupert Lowe were going to come out with, but again they've decided to go their own separate ways, and now rising like a phoenix from the ashes, bright communist red, is Jeremy Corbyn and Zarah Sultana with this new far left party, which no doubt is just going to make the far left youth even worse than they already are, because I mean they're known for supporting all of these like far left protest groups, aren't they? Like we can go back on so many memories and headlines and clips that we've seen of both of them being disgusting. And it's just, I don't know, I really want to know what you guys think about this in the comments, and what you think that this is going to mean. And if you're with me and that you think that more parties is going to equal more division, or if you think this is a good idea, again, I'm not. This is all just my opinion, coming from an emotional place. Well, not just emotional, but also logical, trying to think ahead of what this is going to mean for the country. And we're just going to end up in a mess again, aren't we? Like, the mess is not gonna... We needed something strong and stable, not individuals doing their own thing, and then letting this far left party, then, you know, it's just, I felt like it was okay, kind of okay with the two parties with Lowe and Habib, but now this Jeremy Corbyn thing started and I'm like, oh guys, it's like they almost, Jeremy Corbyn and Zarah Sultana coming together is what Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib should have done, and it's annoying that I know that they're going to be stronger than Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe, because they've come together as two very big figures, at least with the far left, and the lefties who have still, like, especially again with my generation, like the young people especially, who love Jeremy Corbyn, always have, you know, always will, really. Let's be honest, in the eyes of those people, that man could do no wrong, which is just insane. But the fact that I suspect that they're gonna be stronger because they've decided that, yeah, this side, like our target audience in terms of voters, we can further brainwash them because they're already fully brainwashed from the years of the stuff that we've been doing, and just all like the fanboys and girls are gonna come and be like, yay, we're gonna vote for you, this is great, we finally have something to get behind, because they've completely lost faith in the Labour Party, as all of us have, regardless of whether you supported them in the first place or not. And I don't know, it's disappointing. Again, we're just gonna have to see what happens, but I suspect that the left are going to be winning a little bit again in terms of party politics and the voters, and I think where this leaves patriotic, freedom-loving people like us is a little bit between a rock and a hard place. Again, my membership still stands with the Tories, even though emotionally I'm not really attached to them at all, like, anymore whatsoever, and haven't been for some time. But if the Conservative Party can rise out of the ashes, that would be a beautiful thing to see. And it was, I've retweeted something that Emily Hewitson said the other day about the fact that, yes, it's a dumpster fire like under Labour, but we all tried to warn you that it would have been like less of a dumpster fire under the Tories, but you just didn't listen. And this kind of sentiment has been echoed so much since last year. Like, today's the 4th of July. The election was a year ago today, and look where we are. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe, because normally we are a little bit more upbeat than this, a little less sort of anxiety inducing. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get a rant out there, because this isn't the answer. This is not the answer at all, and I don't know where we go from here, apart from just to continue the protests and the conversations that we're having. So just try to continue the conversations that you're having with the communities that you're in. I know that I am in the communities that I'm in, and you know, we've just got to keep fighting, and for the time being, just let party politics slip to the side, because it's a mess. Westminster has been a mess for a while, and unfortunately it's going to continue to be a mess. Now, I know that small parties do take a few years at least to kind of gain some momentum, but then again, with Reform UK, we've seen a very, very rapid rise, especially in the past year since the election, and especially since the local elections as well. So it might not actually take that long. We just really need to hold fast, everyone. Have your own rant in the comments, and I will see you guys in next week's podcast episode, which will hopefully be a little bit more upbeat, and I'll be doing my makeup and it'll be the normal format. But yeah, just wanted to get this out there because I had those points that I really wanted to get off my chest, and hopefully they resonated with some people else out there. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any further episodes of the podcast or the shorts that I do with kind of more breaking news updates. Hope you're all doing well. Stay safe and stay sane as much as you can, and I will see you guys in the next episode.